Next, we have Colonel Carol Walters, the Director of Clinical Investigations and Research Support, here to give us a brief on the 59th Medical Wing. Colonel Walters has served in a variety of operational, educational, and staff positions. As the current Director for Clinical Investigation and Research Support, she oversees more than 45 training programs and provides guidance in the development and performance of operational and clinical research. Please welcome Colonel Carol Walters.
Hello, I'm Colonel Carol Walters. I'm the Director of the 59th Medical Wing Clinical Investigations and Research Support Division, or as I'll refer to it throughout the briefing, CIRS. We are here at JAPSA Lackland, part of the 59th Medical Wing, and fall institutionally under the Office of the Chief Scientist. This slide shows just a little bit about the Office of Science and Technology under the direction of Dr. Deborah Niemeyer. Our vision is to grow medical leaders, drive innovations in patient care and readiness. And you can see here an overview of the services and research and the support that we provide through the Office of the Chief Scientist, or as we affectionately call it, ST. CIRS under ST provides all manner of research support. We're an Air Force Clinical Investigations Program funded facility. So if you've heard anyone talk about SIP, that is the program that funds our facility. In 2020, we, along with all the Navy, Army, and Air Force SIPs, transitioned to DHA J9 SIP office oversight. Here at CIRS, we have 3 support areas. Our primary mission is to support graduate health sciences education, which is why I'm talking to you in this briefing today, specifically to the residents and fellows of graduate medical and allied health education, as well as nursing education. We also support training, specifically live tissue training, to teach and to reinforce medical skills and operational skills for all medics. And we also support a large number of research and development protocols that are completed through programmatic research funding. If you are going to do research in the 59th Medical Wing, be it here at the Wilford Hall Clinic, at Lackland, or at BAMC, you will come through CIRS at some point for some sort of support. And this list shows you, it gives you just a kind of a broad overview of all the type of support we provide. We help through protocol review for human subjects research and animal subjects research. We have a research support laboratory that can help or can provide you space and time to do your work. We also do post-approval monitoring of approved protocols, and anything that is to be published or presented publicly will come through us for clearance. Probably most important to residents and fellows who are looking to do scholarly activity projects that require funding, we provide a funding source, one-year funding sources for dental and graduate health sciences. And I'm going to talk about that a little later in my briefing. This is going to be somewhat of a whirlwind briefing. The goal is for you to not become an expert in every slide. The goal is more for me to point out some key facts that might be of interest to you and provide you some resources at the end of folks you can contact that can help you once you are ready to do your scholarly activity, or if you want to do more advanced research. This is an organizational chart of CIRS, just so you can have a view of how we're organized and some of the key names and folks that are involved in supporting your scholarly activity. CIRS is divided into 3 main operational branches, if you will. The first one we do call the operations branch, and that is under the direction of our attending veterinarian, Dr. Rico, and also Mr. Todd Brown, who manages the operations within our vivarium. And as you can see here, we do have a pretty full service vivarium. So if you're interested in animal research, you can see the species that we can handle and the capability and capacity that we have. We do have 3 operating rooms, and from the pictures you can see they're very full service. We have them set up just like a regular operating room, and so can manage a large variety of animal protocols. Additionally, we have the Da Vinci robot, so if you're interested in studies involving robotic surgeries, we can support that as well. We have access to hyperbaric chambers. We have a small animal one in-house, and we also have access to one across town. So if your research falls along those lines, we can accommodate. The bottom line is if you'd like to do animal research and you're not quite sure what you'd like to do and you have a glimmer of an idea, please reach out to Dr. Rico and Mr. Brown and they can get you started on developing your project. Also supporting the animal research is our veterinary pathologist and our histotechnologist. And you can see the histopathology capabilities we do have in-house. Anything we can't do in-house, we can help you find outside as additional services. Our research support laboratory is run by Dr. Tom Gibbons, and you can see the capabilities that are inherent in that lab. Bottom line is this lab can do a heck of a lot for you. So no matter the type of laboratory-based or bench study research that you would like to do, we can accommodate. We are constantly transitioning the type of capability we have in-house to meet your needs as a customer. So if there's something we can't do, we'll take a look at it. If it makes sense to bring it in-house, we will pursue that. If it makes more sense to provide or to find you a service external to the 59th Medical Wing, we can do that as well. A lot of our effort currently is focused on our molecular and sequencing capabilities. So for those who are interested in precision medicine or the omics, if you will, we certainly can support you in that. Again, we do a wide variety of laboratory-based protocols, particularly for the dental residencies and fellowships. Specifically, microbiology figures heavily, but we can help with cell biology, tissue culture. We have a PhD toxicologist and chemist if that's the lane that you're interested as well. We also, our third branch is support, compliance, and training, or as we affectionately call it, the protocol office. And these are the folks, the administrative folks that you will interact with if you are doing any sort of human subjects or animal research. Under the direction of Miss Rachel Montez, her staff will help you with paperwork, templates, protocols, IACUC IRB approval, education and training in the electronic IRB system, all the manner of administrative work that underpins scholarly activity or approved research. Our Human Research Protection Program serves to protect human subjects and human subjects related studies within the 59th Medical Wing. The chair of the Institutional Review Board is Dr. Craig Vandewall, and our clinical administrator is Dr. Rocky Calcote. And you can see here we are AHARP accredited, and Dr. Calcote and Ms. Montez's staff can help you prepare in any manner and to what level of support you require for your human subject research protocol. The chair of our IACUC for Animal Care and Use Program is Dr. Annika Bush, and the attending veterinarian is Dr. Rico, as I mentioned previously. If you are looking to do an animal research protocol, please reach out to these folks and they can help you guide you in writing your protocol and your study design. Any publication or presentation that is meant for public release, be it posters, abstracts, manuscripts, just oral presentations, technical reports, etc., need to go through clearance. And this is the case both here in the 59th Medical Wing, or if you're doing your research at BAMC, through the BAMC Public Affairs Office. For those who are engaged and doing work within the 59th Medical Wing, our office will manage the administrative flow of your clearance request. Ms. Clarice Longoria is a contractor here who does this full time, and she can answer any questions you might have concerning your submissions. I do want to point out a few things regarding clearance submissions. First of all, please submit them as early as possible because the clearance process does take time. We do a technical review and an administrative review prior to submitting them to Public Affairs for final publication clearance. If you are doing an animal study, be aware that animal study publications and presentations must undergo an additional legal review, and this is required by the Secretary of the Air Force's legal office. So that will add possibly up to a week to your clearance time. I also want to note that abstracts do have to be cleared. Very often researchers will submit abstracts thinking because it's short and doesn't say much that it doesn't need to be cleared prior to submitting for consideration, but that is not the case. Abstracts can contain operational information that needs to be protected. Therefore, your abstract should be cleared prior to submitting them. Now I want to talk about what is probably the most popular slide each year during the Research Fundamentals Workshop and the CERT workshop, and that is SIP funding. If you are looking to do a scholarly activity that involves, will require some funding, one of the best resources you have is the SIP funding that we receive and set aside for your use. This is one-year funding. Typically, we'll fund only up to $30,000 per project. Sometimes we'll fund more if we have the funds. We will sometimes invite larger proposals for a one-time funding opportunity. As I mentioned, they're current year funds, so they must be expended before the end of the fiscal year. However, if you find that you're starting your project late in a fiscal year and we're funding you late in a fiscal year, we often will find ways to extend your funding or to set aside the remainder of your approved funding for the second year so that you can indeed get a full year's worth of work out of your scholarly activity. Be aware that we'll only fund supplies, equipment, or services. We will not fund contracted personnel. And this is funding requests are submitted on a first come, first served basis. We don't have a defined formal proposal or awarding period. So anytime that you're thinking of doing a project or you finalize your project and you're ready for funding and to get started, you can submit your request. The rules of engagement include the fact that you need to be actively engaged as a fellow resident, a GHSE staff, or faculty. If the principal investigator of the proposed protocol is staff or faculty, there must be an actively engaged fellow resident as an associate investigator. Now, what does actively engaged mean? Actively engaged means if you're doing an animal protocol, you are here in the vivarium actually doing work and participating in the animal study and working with the animals. If it's a laboratory study, you're actively engaged or you're talking and you're interacting on a regular basis with the personnel in our laboratory. It can range from sitting with our personnel and having our personnel working with you on executing the bench studies, or you, if you prefer, actually sitting at the bench and using our resources to conduct your study. You may also have Army and Navy associate investigators on these protocols, though the funding is specifically set aside for Air Force residents and fellows. Exceptions to the service restrictions are extended to the dental postgraduate program, however. When you are submitting a funding request, we'll ask that you submit an approved protocol. So either you need, if it's a human subjects research, an IRB approval, or an exempt protocol, an exempt determination, or for an animal study, an IACUC approved protocol. We will also ask that you submit a budget request, and we have a format that we will provide to you so you can submit that, because we will order your supplies and your services for you. And then we also ask that you submit a memo for record from your program director indicating that the project you're about to embark upon does meet your scholarly activity requirement. Be aware that we will also fund publications, particularly manuscripts. So if you are a resident or fellow and your project was done as part of your scholarly activity, you can apply to us to pay for your manuscript publication. You do have to request funding, however, before you commit to publishing, as we cannot fund after you have been approved and committed. In addition, if we do provide you SIP funding for your scholarly activity and you're invited to present a poster or a presentation at DoD's annual research symposium, which is called MHSRS, we will also fund your travel. I and my deputy, Mr. Paul Barnicott, and Dr. Annika Bush are all involved in the SIP funding decisions, so feel free to reach out to any one of us and we can help you with any questions you have regarding funding. The next few slides are just here for your awareness so that you can see the variety and the breadth of GME protocols or GHSE protocols we have funded in the past 2 fiscal years. And I'll just fly through these and you can look through those at your leisure. In addition to supporting your scholarly activity, Inter Vivarium, I mentioned earlier that we support and host live tissue training. So as a GME or GHSE resident or fellow, you may find your program director or your mentor asking that you attend some live tissue training here at SIRS. And as you can see by the list, we have a wide variety of opportunities for you to gain live tissue experience, particularly in skill sets that you may not necessarily have the opportunity to utilize on human patients. So we range anywhere from endovascular to trauma to emergency skills to general surgery. Again, we have the Da Vinci. So in some programs, the robotic skills training is something that you will conduct while you're here. If you're offered the opportunity, we encourage you to take advantage of it. It's easy. They're not formal courses. They're no cost to you. They're just a little bit of time. And feedback is that students get a lot out of these training sessions. So I've covered a lot about the clinical investigations program and the funding and the programs that are geared specifically to supporting graduate health sciences education. Also resident within ST are several other venues for researchers, for staff, for residents and fellows that might be interested now or in the future in more advanced research opportunities. If you're so inclined, I'd like to go over a few things that you can tuck away for the future. In the fall, we here at SIRS host a workshop very similar to the one you're attending currently, called Research Fundamentals course. Typically it's held in October and it's a 2-day course where we run all the way through funding to clearances to basics of study design. Many of the same things that we're discussing in CERT this time around. If you miss or would like another opportunity to attend a workshop along those lines, mark your calendar for October and we'll have an offering for you there. Dr. Carl Brinkley and Dr. Victor Sylvia, who are two scientists within ST here in the 59th Medical Wing, host a Research Education Academy. And this is geared to really provide more personalized and one-on-one assistance with grant writing and those types of skills. If you're interested in that, please reach out to them and they can tell you when the next sessions will be held. The next slide will cover SCION, Clinician Scientist Investigator Opportunity Network, which I'll briefly introduce to you. And then finally, Colonel Antoinette Shin and Mr. Lance McGinnis, who are our nurse scientists and very well versed in evidence-based practice, also host courses if you're interested in this type of work. I mentioned SCION. This is an intermediate research program for attendings. So once you are through your residency and or your fellowship and perhaps are staying here in San Antonio and may have an advanced research desire, SCION may be an opportunity you would like to seek. So I just want to put a bug in your ear about SCION. This is a post-resident fellowship program, and it is a 2-year program. Applications for this opportunity are solicited in August and September. Typically, interviews and choices will be done through the fall, and then the formal program will start in January. Through SCION and other R&D funded opportunities within ST, there are many opportunities for residents and fellows, even while you're in your program, to get linked to or to get a hand in some advanced clinical research. that you may not necessarily have the opportunity to do through the SIP program. If you are interested in advanced research, I encourage you to reach out to Dr. Joe Madry, who is the director of SCION, or Dr. Amber Mallory, who is the senior mentor for this program. For your future use, I provide here some websites. The CSRS website is a wealth of documents. So if you are working on or designing human subjects research protocols, animal study protocols, all the relevant policies, forms, templates, everything are on the site, as well as the publications and clearances forms. And then also provided are some forward or public-facing websites that ST maintains. Along with the CSRS budgeting and funding slide, this is probably the foot stomp slide as well, and that's the CSRS points of contact. Any questions you have about research and scholarly activity and conducting it as an Air Force resident or fellow, please keep this contact slide handy and feel free to reach out to any one of us. If we can't help you or we know a better person that can help you, we will get you to the right place. Our staff is willing to do one-on-one consultations at any time. Your project does not have to be totally developed. It could just be a glimmer of a hope, and we will help you get to the end and realize your objective. I mentioned additional scientists within ST, and these are their points of contact. Dr. Mallory and Dr. Carl Brinkley manage extensive research portfolios and may have some projects that have some arms to them that would benefit from resident and fellow participation. Again, if you're interested in advanced research opportunities, please reach out to them or Dr. Joe Madry to learn more about SCION for the future. Colonel Shin, for those who are in nursing programs, is your contact for evidence-based practice type projects. And then if you have any questions about product transition, patents, CRADAs, agreements, anything along those lines, Dr. Scott Walter is your point of contact. So as I promised, this was a whirlwind overview of the 59th Medical Wing Clinical Investigations Program and our organization here, CSRS, that executes the program and supports you throughout your scholarly activity and research endeavors in any way that you require or need. I encourage you to hang on to the contacts and resources slides. And when you are ready to do scholarly activity or to pursue more advanced research, please don't hesitate to reach out to any one of us with your questions. Thank you very much, and I hope you have a great day.